whether the team is performing clean or unsightly. We'll cover it all here on Washington Football Night. And I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So Dallas week has taken on a new meaning. This game was already huge to begin with. 8-4 Dallas, 6-6 Washington. Washington on a 4-game winning streak. Dallas 2 games up for the division lead. Washington has this Dallas team 2 times in the next 3 weeks. Everything Dallas wants right in front of them. Beat Washington, win next week. Division's pretty much over and done with. Washington, same deal. Everything they want right in front of them. Beat Dallas this week, win next week against Philadelphia, set up a matchup for first place the following week at Dallas. So a lot of things are right here for both teams. But then you add this into the mix. And we've already played up the David versus Goliath scenario and situation and, throw the rock, as we've talked about with Ron Rivera in the locker room. Jack, where you at? Jack! And this is something that has taken on a life of its own, but we've embraced the David role. No one believes all the disrespect. Taylor Heineken instead of Taylor Heineke or Tyler Heineken, as I've heard him called, by different commentators over the last couple of weeks. That this defense is going to give up this amount of points and this amount of yards to this offense each and every single week. The disrespect has been palpable. ESPN not sending their Monday night crew to the game a couple of weeks ago against Seattle, but sending their crew to Buffalo for a game with, 22 degrees and 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts. The disrespect is real. But this ups the ante of Dallas week. This takes it to another level. I wanted this game bad already. Not just because it was Dallas. I want every game bad. Not because the division's on the line, playoff spots on the line, but because I want to keep this party going. I want to see where this thing heads and where it ends. And how far we can take it. But Dallas week hasn't meant something really since let's call it a spade a spade. Let's call it what it is. 2016 Thanksgiving, Dallas was probably 9-3. We were probably 8. I think we were 6-3-1 or something like that. And Dallas was way ahead of us, but it was still a meaningful game because it was first place Dallas against second place Washington. And we haven't been able to say that deep into the season for a very long time. And that Thanksgiving game last year doesn't count. And I don't know if Dallas was in second place then or not. I know they were coming off of a big win versus Minnesota on the road. Doesn't matter. Those were 2 bad football teams, and we just happened to be better than them that day, a lot better, okay? 41-16 better. But this is the first game that has had real playoff implications, real division implications this late in the season with meaningful football on the line since probably 2016. And you might have to even go back to 2012, week 17, winner takes all for the division. Alfred Morris, 200 yards rushing, Robert Griffin III on one leg, yada, yada, yada. Rob Jackson, huge pick. We win the game, win the division. Dallas goes home. All of those things exist. John Allen telling the fans, we need you. I'm giving away 5 tickets. We want you guys in the stands. We need your support. Ron Rivera hyping up the crowd saying, hey, we need you guys. We need your support. And us talking about how much we want Dallas and it feeling like a big game and having the energy of a big game. We didn't need this, but this is welcomed. Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy, who I think is a caricature. I think he's a joke. And this adds more fuel to that fire. Okay? I don't respect this guy. You guys know how I feel about Mike McCarthy. I think his legacy is built upon the back of one Aaron Rodgers. To me, this guy's a joke of a head coach. And I love the fact that he's got his chest puffed out and he thinks his team is this good and he thinks he's a great coach. I love it. So when we pop that goddamn balloon and that shit bursts and he looks like a damn fool, we'll be sitting here laughing just like everybody else is laughing at him. He had the audacity today to say, and I quote, in this game on Sunday, he feels like his team is going to win. And he should feel like he's going to win, right? This is what we talk about. when you're behind closed doors, this is what you talk about to your team. He says, we're going to win this weekend. I feel pretty confident in that. Close quote. Really? And someone, and you get this from people who don't get it sometimes. Well, what is he supposed to say? We're going to lose? No, you know what he's supposed to say? That's a damn good football team over there, and we got our work cut out for us, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. That's what he's supposed to say. If one of the players says, hey, we're better than them, and we're going to win, yeah, it's bulletin board material, but it's a player. And players say stupid shit all the time. Coaches are held to a higher standard. And what you don't want to do as a coach is give the opposition, one that has won 4 games in a row, mind you, any kind of ammunition to use against your team. Now, you could look at it from a different spectrum and a different perspective if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan or player, or et cetera, et cetera. Hey, coach has put his neck out there. Now we got to go back him up. But if you're a fan of the Washington football team, or you're a player in that locker room, a coach, the disrespect, which has been mounting from around the league, and that's why the David versus Goliath thing even came into play to begin with, is because the disrespect that this team has been shown all season long after the 2-6 start, and rightfully so. Again, I'm not saying that the disrespect isn't warranted, but disrespect is disrespect. If a guy is a 22% three-point shooter and they won't come out past the free throw line and they give you all the space in the world to shoot, that's disrespect. But they're disrespecting you because you're a 22% three-point shooter. You're more likely than not gonna miss. That's why they're giving you the shot. I'm not saying our disrespect isn't warranted. Doesn't make it any less disrespectful. And the fact that, he thought it was okay. And so to go back and address the person who said, well, what is he supposed to say? Well, I told you what he's supposed to say. As a coach, you're supposed to straddle that fence. You're supposed to play both sides of this thing because, again, you're not looking to give any bulletin board material. You can be confident in your team. They can know that behind closed doors. You can continue to tell them, hey, we're better than this team. We should kick their ass. You can say that till the cows come home behind closed doors. But out in public, you remain neutral because that's what you do. That's the smart thing to do. Bill Belichick isn't out here saying, hey, the Jets stink. And you know what? We're going to kick their ass this Sunday. You know why he doesn't do that? Because it doesn't make any sense and there's no benefit to doing that. And I'll take it a step further, and this is how I responded to that person on socials. I said, had he been playing the Aaron Rodgers-led Green Bay Packers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers led by Tom Brady, does he make the same comment he made today? The answer is no. A resounding no. Okay? The answer, so don't talk to me about he's supposed to have confidence in his team. You're damn right he is. But you don't make that statement. Unless it's a statement you would make no matter who the opponent is, it's going to be viewed as disrespect. And this is as disrespectful as it gets. He just dismissed us, and I love it. I told you, Troy Aikman pissed me off on Thursday night when he said, oh, the Cowboys, they can have this division wrapped up in a couple of weeks. Oh, really, Troy? The same Cowboys team that just lost to Vegas, the same Cowboys team that couldn't score 10 points against the Chiefs, that same Cowboys team could have this division wrapped up. The same team that needed 4 turnovers by the Saints just to scratch and claw up 27 points, 7 of which came on a kickoff return, and the other 7, another 7 came off of a pick 6. That same Cowboys team? Oh, okay. Right, I got you. Yeah, they're playing hot football, and they're playing like a hot knife through butter. Got it. They're going to just mop the division and win this thing. Oh, okay. So the disrespect is palpable. And this right here takes the cake. We didn't need Mike McCarthy saying that, he was pretty confident that they're going to win this game on Sunday. We didn't need that. We didn't need any extra motivation, but we sure as hell will take it. And it's going to make the win that much sweeter when we get it on Sunday. My God, I can taste it. That locker room is going to be on 1,000 after this game. And I hope they give us the clip because Ron's going to bring the shit up. We probably won't see it because, it doesn't benefit Washington to put anything out there that's going to demean another team, especially a team that you got to play again in 2 weeks. Doesn't make any sense to give them any fodder. But again, when you don't have it all up here, when you're not a smart guy, and Mike McCarthy obviously is not a smart guy, clearly he doesn't get it as a head coach. Even if they do win this game, you still got to play us in 2 weeks. Where's the psychological sense in that? I don't understand where the benefit is. But you know what? I effing love it. Shows like today make what I do fun because I'm going to enjoy and savor this win that we're going to get on Sunday. It's going to be that much more special. And to all the people out there, including my guy Law, and the show last night was epic. And for those of you who tuned in, thank you so much for making that show what it was. And to all the other Cowboys fans, I read a tweet today that said, I don't know why the hell Washington fans keep chanting, we want Dallas. Dak Prescott 7-1 against you, in case you haven't noticed. You don't want this smoke, pretty much is what he said. You should want a new name, is what he said. All I can do is laugh at that. He didn't say anything false. We want a new name. Dak Prescott 7-1. But you know what that says to me? One, it says someone's feeling a little some type of way to feel like they need to say something like that. That's number one. Number two, Dak's due for a loss. That's what 7-1 says to me. He ain't gonna keep beating us up. And every time you look up, there's another one in the left-hand column and there's nothing being added to the right-hand column. All that 7-1 says is his ass, he hasn't lost against us since 2018. His ass is due for another loss. That's what that says to me. He's due. Long overdue. Like a book you checked out last year, he's over goddamn due. Time to pay up. I couldn't imagine a better situation to go and recoup a dub from Dak Prescott and this Dallas Cowboys football team. And when it's all said and done and we do get the win, everyone will be blaming Mike McCarthy. He'll have egg all over his face. And I can't wait to see it. He's clueless as a head coach. He really is. Truly, truly is. And this is going to make everything that happens on Sunday that much sweeter, especially if we win. If we lose, then he's going to be vindicated. I'm going to be pissed off because I really want, I always tell you guys, I'm invested every game. I want to win every single game, right? But there's a point in every game for one reason or another where I become truly invested. Like I really got to have it now. When we were playing the Buccaneers, we started off hot. We picked Brady off twice and we're up and I'm like, yeah, this is nice. I still think we're going to lose. But then when Chase Young went down for the season, and you knew it was over. You knew when he went down non-contact, this was it. His season was done. I need it now. We're not getting Chase Young back. I need it now. You could go on and on and on. You know, the Carolina game, when Cam scored that damn touchdown and he ran all the way to midfield and decided he wanted to do the Superman. Oh, I wanted it before. I really want it now. Give me that shit. Last week against the Vegas Raiders, I wanted that game badly. Yeah, I got a buddy. I already told you he's a Vegas Raiders fan. There's bragging rights there, obviously. What, 4-game winning streak on the line? All the momentum in the world going into the Dallas game. All of these things were on my brain. But you know what made that game a gotta have game is when Yannick Ngakoue decided to go dirty and low on Logan Thomas. Pause. Take his knee out and pretty much end that man's season for no damn reason on the backside of a run play that was 10 yards in the opposite direction. Now I gotta have this shit because I know Logan's season is done. So now, before the ball is even kicked off, before I even know if Washington's won the toss or deferred to the second half or they've lost the toss and they're going to receive to start the game, before any of that even takes place, before I know if they got the white on whites on or if they're going to wear the Bergs on Bergs, before any of that even comes into view, this one takes on new meaning and I want this shit bad because their coach decided he was going to spout out with the goddamn mouth and say, hey, I pretty much feel confident we're going to win this game. Oh, really? Interesting. Gotcha. We'll see who wins. And I can't wait. Bart Scott. Can't wait. We're not going to win via ass whooping. We're not going to destroy the Cowboys. If we win, they could destroy us. Highly unlikely. This isn't the team that we saw earlier in the season that started off 2-6. that we didn't really know what team was going to show up week in, week out. So what I don't think is going to happen is a blowout on either end. But if anybody got blown out, it'd probably more likely be us. They've got the firepower to go and score at 34, and we're not that team right now. Not saying that we can't score 34, but that's not who we are right now. But that said, I don't care how much we win by. I don't care if they think it's a fluke, this, that. As long as we win, as long as we have one more point than them, they're never going to hear the end of this. And we got them in 2 weeks again. But I want this one bad. And Mike McCarthy just signed, sealed, delivered this loss, this L, this smoke that he really didn't want. He just signed, sealed, delivered it. And when it's done, he won't hear the end of this shit. Neither will Cowboys fans. And everybody that told us we were going to get smoked and we were crazy, they won't come to the stream. They won't come find us if we win. If we lose, you know they'll be in the stream. We told you this, that, and the third. But you know what? I may be petty enough to go seek out a few cats if this thing goes in our favor. I don't know. That's not my style, to be petty. I like to take the high road. But what Mike McCarthy started, I may just have to finish. We'll see. Bart Scott. Can't wait. Let's get to in other news. And yesterday, we had the live stream, so we didn't have Washington Football Nightly. We weren't able to talk about the injury situation. It's a fascinating one. I think we're going to get a lot of guys back. We didn't have a chance to talk about Montaez Sweat and his situation. We'll talk about all of that here in other news. But first, let's take a look at the injury report for both teams, and we will start with the good guys first and take a look at what the injury situation looks like for Washington heading into this monumental game. I talked to so many Washington fans that were so perturbed by the injury report and like, oh my God, we have no linebackers, this, that, the third. I'm like, relax. It's Wednesday and you're already crying. Relax. You know how this works. We've done this now for 13 weeks straight, or with one bye week in there. We've done this for 13 weeks though. You know how this works. Why are you tripping? Wednesday is the day that if a guy's nicked, he's bruised, or there's any kind of precautionary measures to be taken, it's Wednesday. So when a guy doesn't practice on Wednesday, don't get bent out of shape. It's Wednesday. You should be more concerned if you see a DNP on Thursday. That's when you should be concerned. There was no, so to me, I was like, relax. Or as the OG likes to tell us all the time, Chauncey Davis says, relax, breathe. Relax, breathe. We're fine, one at a time. So one day at a time. The first day, Wednesday, you had 3 DNPs. Landon Collins, Jamin Davis, Wes Schweitzer, and we'll add a fourth, a guy that is not listed here, but I have all of the rundown on him as well, J.D. McKissick. He was a DNP as well. So we had 4 impactful DNPs on Wednesday. Everybody else, as you can see, limited in their participation at practice. So you feel good about Jonathan Allen and his groin, which cropped up and flared up against Vegas. Jordan Kay and his hamstring, which we cannot afford another injury at the linebacker position. But obviously, as you can see, hamstrings are tricky. He's probably not going to play. We're already tapped into our depth as far as you possibly can really go with Khaleke Hudson now being injured and placed on IR. You're pretty much as thin as you can get at a position that was already thin to begin with at linebacker. Now you got Jordan Kay potentially out of this game with a hamstring injury. Tyler Larson, knee injury. I told you, I think he's going to play, and I think he's going to start, and I think he's going to be ready to go against Dallas this week after not playing last week as an emergency center last week. I think he's going to be ready to go and help us this week. Curtis Samuel with the groin. They're treating him essentially like they do Antonio Gibson every week, who is no longer on the injury report, which is a really good thing. He's fine. They're just going to continue to take it slow with him. They don't want any setbacks because they're overworking him in practice. Brandon Sheriff, same deal. Knee, he's fine. He's going to be able to go. And Ricky Seals-Jones, I told you, it's like tag team, back again. Every time we get one of these guys, whether it's Logan Thomas or Ricky Seals-Jones, we don't have the other. Ricky Seals-Jones had to hold it down for that stretch where there was no Logan Thomas. Then Ricky Seals tags out. Logan wasn't quite ready yet, so he had to tag in John Bates for a week. Bates says, I got it. I'll hold you down. He was holding it down against Carolina. And then here comes like a knight in shining armor. Here comes Logan Thomas back in time for the Seattle game. You feel really good about that game, and you get it done, and you win that game, and you're thinking, man, Logan makes such a huge difference. Gets the touchdown grab against the Vegas Raiders early in that game, and then we lose him. Thought we were going to get Ricky Seals-Jones back for that Vegas game as well. He was held out another week, and I'm kind of glad that they did. Gave him another week to heal that hip, and now I think he's going to be ready to tag back in now that Logan Thomas is officially tagging out for the remainder of the season. Ricky Seals-Jones ready to tag back in and give us another threat at the tight end position, which we desperately need, because that's one of those positions where you got to have a guy that can win some one-on-one matchups, and Ricky Seals-Jones can definitely do that. So you like the LPs, okay? Now you fast forward to Thursday, current time, where we are right now. And, people were worried about Landon. People were worried about J.D. McKissick. People were worried about Jamin Davis and his concussion. And you should have been worried about Jamin Davis, more specifically the linebacker position as a whole, knowing what you know about Khaleke Hudson and him being on IR, knowing what you know about Jordan Kay and him being injured, knowing what you know about Jamin Davis already being banged up now. You should have been concerned about linebacker. But now you fast forward to Thursday. Landon Collins practices, says he's about 90%, which means more likely than not, he'll be able to go on Sunday versus the Cowboys, which is a welcome sight. Jamin Davis, who didn't practice yesterday, Ron said he had some concussion symptoms, and he reported those on Wednesday, and that's why they held him out of practice. Well, sounds like he felt a lot better on Thursday. He was a limited participant. So that is trending in the direction of him potentially being able to go on Sunday. Now, again, don't make it a definite thing. Oh, he's playing now. No, we'll keep monitoring Jamin Davis, but that's a great sign, because generally when a guy it has concussion on the injury report and it's the first week of that concussion, we all know the play that it happened on, right? Generally, that guy's not playing, and he's not practicing that entire week. The fact that that's even limited on Thursday is a humongous step in the right direction, and a huge sign that he may be able to go. So that's great news. We can ill afford to lose Jamin Davis, really, him or Cole Holcomb at this point. Wes Schweitzer, ankle. I told you guys the earliest we'd see him back was the Philadelphia game. I already told you guys Wes Schweitzer will not be back against Dallas, which is fine. We'll be okay. We'll survive. But I'd love to have him available next week, even if he doesn't play. Just to have him available next week will be huge, because we've got everybody on the offensive line. Even if he were available, he would probably not be playing anyway. Tyler Larson, if he's healthy, would be starting at center, not Wes Schweitzer. You just want him to be available on the bench in the event that something were to go with, awry with Flowers or Sheriff. So Schweitzer will probably be available next week. Allen with the groin limited. So I don't worry about Jonathan Allen. I've told you that over the years. He's one of those guys, much like Morgan Moses back in the day. If he's on the injury report, as long as it's not a DNP, I'm pretty much penciling in that guy in to play, and that's Jonathan Allen. So not worried about him. Jordan Kay, he's not playing. Hamstrings are tricky, man. And the fact that he was able to go yesterday, couldn't go today, means it probably tightened up on him. That's not a good sign. I don't think he's going to be able to play. You get hurt on special teams there, and you also get hurt at linebacker depth. Tyler Larson, Curtis Samuel, Brandon Sheriff, Ricky Seals-Jones, all limited for the second consecutive day. I feel confident about all of those guys. Throw Jonathan Allen in there, and I think those 5 guys right there are all going to play. Now, the interesting guys are Landon Collins, Jamin Davis, and J.D. McKissick, who did not practice on Wednesday. He's not listed here, but he is on the injury report. They didn't put him, for some inexplicable reason, they didn't put him up on the team website, which is fine. I've got all the lowdown on J.D. McKissick. Did not practice yesterday. Was limited today, so he was an LP. That's a great sign, because last week we got nothing out of him. Similar to Jamin Davis. Last week, no J.D. McKissick. No sight of him out there because he had a concussion. And so you knew he wasn't going to play. The fact that he's an LP, it means he's trending in the right direction. Same with Jamin Davis. You see concussion, and then you see an LP, you're like, whoa, okay, he practiced today. Even if it's on a limited basis, he practiced. We're heading in the right direction. I think we're going to have J.D. McKissick back and available for the game on Sunday versus Dallas. That will be a huge boost to this offense if he's in fact back. So I look at it like this. I think Landon's going to be back. I think Jamin Davis is going to be out there. I think Jonathan Allen is going to be out there. I know Jonathan Allen is going to be out there barring any kind of setback. Same with Tyler Larson, Curtis Samuel. Never, ever trust a man with 2 first names, Brandon Sheriff, and Ricky Seals-Jones. Those are the guys I know. the guys I think are Landon Collins, Jamin Davis, and J.D. McKissic. So we're sitting pretty. We're getting a lot of guys back healthy this week, if it holds true and if what I project to be the case happens. And I've been pretty much spot on, all season long with these injuries and guys playing and not playing. So I feel pretty confident in that assessment. But tomorrow will be really the final piece of the puzzle and to really give us a real indication as to who's going to go, who's not going to be able to go. But I feel really confident. As for Montaez Sweat, as we transition back into in other news, yesterday it was reported that Montaez Sweat has COVID-19. He's in the protocol, going to miss the game against Dallas. I felt like there was true irony there because, remember, I told you I don't like having the COVID conversations because they're pointless, especially this team that did such a great job with it last year. Until it's a problem, it's not a problem. And I don't really need to talk about it. So many people, oh, my God, this, that, and the third in the offseason when it was a big discussion. And we were only this percentage vaccinated and this, that, and the third. I'm like, until it's a story, I don't care. Now it's a story, so we'll talk about it. Montaez Sweat was the guy that, really made media headlines with his comments about, COVID-19 and getting the vaccine, this, that, and the third. Really sounded like he didn't understand how it worked, but it's ironic that he would be the guy to get COVID on the team. So he's out, and I can tell you this, Ja Morant, I'm a Grizzlies fan. He's now in COVID protocol. Anytime you give one of these young boys more time off than they're supposed to, this is the kind of thing that can happen. Montaez Sweat obviously out for reasons football related with the jaw injury and the broken and fractured jaw. So he missed time. And so he's got more time in his hands to get into other activities or, be around family members that may be out there living their best life, whatever the case may be. Same could be said for Ja Morant. These are young guys. You know what I mean? If they're not playing, they got shit to do. So it sucks because we could have used him this week. I was looking forward to having him back. Ron said that, they were just waiting for the okay from the doctors, but they were expecting him back on the practice field on Wednesday. But, obviously he got himself into something, whether he did it himself or indirectly came in contact with someone that put him in a compromising situation. It is what it is. And look, this is the same cast of characters we've been rolling with during this 4-game heater, essentially. We haven't had Montaez Sweat since the bye week, and we haven't had Chase Young since the game after the bye and half of that game. So at that, this is the same cast of characters. Casey Tuhill, James Smith-Williams, Shaka Toney, Bumney routinely. I mean, these are the same dudes we've been rolling with. So nothing has changed. And I'm not batting an eye. I'm not upset. I'm not nervous. I'm not this. I'm not that. It is what it is. And he'll be back eventually. And hopefully when he comes back, he's ready to kick some ass. But until then, we'll continue to hold the fort down and keep everything going just like we had been during this 4-game winning streak. So I want to quickly address something else, and that's the ticket situation. I want to read what my guy Trevor Patch sent me. And again, shout out to Trevor Patch for sending me these tickets and donating them to the Louie T Network and allowing us to do our part. Like Jonathan Allen's doing his part, giving 5 free tickets away to some fans to get more fans in the stands. I'm going to do my part. And I'm glad that Trevor was able to bless me with these so that I could do my part, or else I would have had to find a way to get my hands on a couple of tickets because I was going to make sure I put 2 more asses in the seats that were rooting for the good guys. So I'm going to read you what my guy Trevor sent me. And Trev is the best, man. I love Trevor Patch. He's my guy. And if you see Trev in the comment section, show him some love. Member of the mob, obviously, and also a hell of a gesture by Trevor. He says, "Hey, Louie, it's Trevor Patch from the mob. Hoping your bye week was relaxing." He says, "I will not be able to make it to the Washington versus Dallas game on 12/12. I will be unfortunately out of town, and I would like to donate my tickets to your channel and create whatever creative contest you'd like." I'm not doing that. I'm just going to do what I've always done, and that's bless the mob and bless those on Patreon because you've blessed me. I'm just going to continue to pay it forward. He says, "These are, quote-unquote, dream seats behind the Washington bench, section 39." So we're not even in the 100s, which is usually where my tickets are. You're even closer than that. You're right there. I mean, literally, you can hear conversations being had on the sidelines. He says, Section 39, row 3, seats 17 and 18. You will be face-to-face with some of the defense. You will have conversations with Tressway and Cheeseman. The cheer team is up close and personal. Zero chance of sewage being dropped on you. He says you can impact the game if you are allowed enough. Best of all, these seats come with free food and drinks at your seat. You just ask the host wearing black for whatever you want. Let me know the info. And so he goes on to tell me anything else I need. Let him know. So it doesn't get much better than this. These are the best tickets I've ever given away. And you know what? It's the perfect week to give away these types of tickets. Free food, great seats, and an opportunity to impact the game. So if you're out there and you're a member of the MOBB or you're a member of Patreon, use the hashtag #WeWantDallas. Use the hashtag #WeWantDallas to enter in to the sweepstakes and drawing to win these tickets. We will do a drawing on Friday to give these tickets away. So again, and I'll do it later on in the day so that you guys will have chances to watch the video, whether you watch this live when it first comes out or you watch it tomorrow at some point. You'll have an opportunity to get in. I will do it later on in the evening tomorrow when I put out the video. So We Want Dallas is the hashtag. Once again, if you are interested in the 2 Dream Seat tickets provided to the Louie T Network by Trevor Patch for the Dallas game on Sunday, all you have to do is use that hashtag We Want Dallas and be a member of the MOBB or a subscriber on Patreon. So let's get to our first look at the Dallas Cowboys. And man, this game just got spicy. As if it wasn't already. It got even spicier than it already was. This is a Cowboys team that is 8-4, leaders in the clubhouse in the NFC East. We know about how explosive they can be on offense. We know all the names. We know all the players. You know what's interesting? And you know what? Let me go back a second. I got so excited about Washington's situation. Let's look at Dallas's situation real quick. So there's some interesting things here and some interesting developments, because if you watch the Mob Squad or the Super Friends live stream last night, it was epic. If you haven't watched it already, do yourself a favor, go watch the live stream with the Super Friends. It was a ton of fun, and a lot was said. Some of what was said may be regrettable. We'll see. I was talking a lot of shit last night, just so you know. But I told you I was going to do that if we beat the Panthers. I told you I was going to start being on one, and here we are. So the interesting part about Dallas is they've been, to this point, they look like they were going to be the healthiest they've been all season. They're coming off of a Thursday night win. They had 10 days to essentially get a mini bye. They're getting a bunch of guys back. They got Tank Lawrence back. He played in his first game against the Saints since week 1. They got Michael Parsons playing at a high level, and they're going to get Randy Gregory back for this game as well. So they got all these pass rushers. They're feeling great about that situation. The offense is coming along. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, all these guys are healthy now. So they're feeling really good about their situation. And Noah Brown, who's a core special teamer and a receiver, he's going to be out in this game. He's actually been placed on IR, so he's definitely out. But his impact is going to be felt more so on special teams than anything else. Cedric Wilson limited with an ankle. He's a key contributor offensively. Ezekiel Elliott, he's got the knee, has had the knee since the Carolina game. He'll play. We already know about his toughness. Sean McKeon is a backup tight end. He was limited. He'll more likely than not play, but again, not a major guy in the grand scheme of things. And Michael Parsons, this just flared up yesterday, so he's got a hip now. All of a sudden, he was limited. He's going to play. He's going to be fine. He may be somewhat hampered. We'll see. We'll take any help we can get. Anytime you get a guy, I told you, I don't like surprises when it pertains to us, but I love surprises when it pertains to the opposition. And him showing up on the injury report when he wasn't there yesterday is news to me, and I love it. Want more of it. As a matter of fact, we got more of it because I skipped over a name on purpose because I was going to come back to it and spend some time on it, because if you watch my live stream, I think it was the Thursday night game against the Saints for the Cowboys, I went on record as saying I think the Cowboys' best running back is Tony Pollard. Now, I asked Law this on the Super Friends stream last night. we thought the best running back for the Dallas Cowboys was, and he said still Ezekiel Elliott. I beg to differ, but he made his points about in the past game. I think Pollard's a better receiver. He made his point about pass protection, which Zeke does have the edge there, but Pollard is a better, to me, has better vision. I think Pollard has more explosiveness. He hits the home run. He's a better receiver. The toughness in between the tackles, obviously still advantage Ezekiel Elliott, but I said, give me more Zeke. I like my chances with Zeke more so than Tony Pollard. Well, Pollard now all of a sudden has a foot injury, and reports are that he did some serious damage to his Liz Frank. He's got a Liz Frank injury on his foot. And so the Liz Frank injury is really the middle of your foot. If you sprain the middle of your foot, that's considered a Liz Frank injury. And that's painful. And I don't know how he's not just ruled out for this game already. But he didn't practice Wednesday. He didn't practice Thursday. And right now, we're hearing that he could be a game time decision. Game time my ass, if what they're reporting is true. This feels eerily similar to what the Raiders tried to do with Darren Waller, what the Broncos tried to do with Von Miller, which is, hey, he may be able to play. He could be a game time decision. Bullshit. I called the Raiders bluff on Darren Waller. I called the Broncos bluff on Von Miller. I'm not calling the Cowboys bluff on Tony Pollard just yet because I haven't had it confirmed that he has, a serious Liz Frank injury. Until I have that confirmed, then there's a chance he could play. He could have just sprained his foot just slightly and he can go. But if they tell me, no, this is real Liz Frank, there's no way he's playing on Sunday. And if he's out, that is massive. One, he's a massive kick return option. Two, he's a dynamic back out of the backfield, and he really changes the game for the Cowboys out of the backfield. I told you, I would take 99% Ezekiel Elliott, and we may ultimately be getting that with no Tony Pollard. That could be a huge blow to the Cowboys offensively if he can't go in this game. So that's something to keep an eye on. We'll see if that happens or not. But back to where we were, and I apologize for forgetting to do that initially. But in my excitement, in my haste to move on to the first look at these Cowboys, I omitted that. So wanted to double back and make sure I took care of that. So, this is a big game for obvious reasons. And I talked already about the offense and all the explosive weapons that they have. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. I know their tight end position, their tight end, has really played well. The tight end Dalton Schultz from Stanford, he is just playing at a different level this year. And so you add him into the mix. And obviously, if Tony Pollard's healthy, he's a problem. And Ezekiel Elliott out of the backfield is still a good back. And so we know the offense. And then Dak Prescott and what he's been a thorn in our side over the years. Obviously, there's so many. And their offensive line, when healthy, they've got a chance to be one of the better units. So, yeah, we know about all of the challenges that they pose in Dallas offensively. What everyone's talking up is this Cowboys defense. And, all of the comments that I read on the live stream last night, the Super Friends live stream from Cowboys fans is, what are you going to do now that Gregory's back? Now that Tank Lawrence is back playing in his second game and, Michael Parsons is a man possessed and is totaling a sack or two every single game and impacting the game in a multitude of ways. What are you going to do now that Neville Gallimore is back and this, that, and the third? And so they're all excited about all these defensive pieces that are all of a sudden healthy now and ready to wreak havoc moving forward. And to that I say, we ain't met a defense that has scared us yet this season. And we damn sure ain't quaking and shaking in our boots over the Dallas Cowboys, okay? That damn sure ain't happening for me. Now, I will tell you, that front could present some issues if we're not on our best behavior. And I feel like the right side of the line with Cornelius Lucas, at times, not every snap. I'm not just overly concerned with Cornelius Lucas, but every now and again, it's been leaky on that side. The Max Crosby hit arm forced interception last week, that was pressure. The week before that against Seattle, I thought early in the game we were struggling to protect. So we've had some offensive line breakdowns last couple of weeks. We need to be more stout up front. If we don't come with our hard hat and our lunch pail, their defensive front can wreak havoc and destroy our entire game plan What we don't want is to have Taylor Heineke sacked or have Taylor Heineke running for his life back there, panicking, making poor decisions, or finding ourselves in 2nd and 17 because we took a first down sack, or you get to 2nd and 3, you try to take a shot, you take a sack, and now it's 3rd and 10. We don't want to find ourselves in these situations. We have to make sure we protect. That's one of the biggest things right now that I'm looking at. But hear me out. Hear me loud. Hear me proud when I say this. And we'll talk more about these things extensively tomorrow on the show. Dallas's secondary is suspect. You can attack it. You can have success against it. There are guys that are constantly open. You can go after Anthony Brown. He stinks. I'm not afraid of Trayvon Diggs. Terry did him in last year, smoked him and cooked him for a touchdown. I'm not afraid of their secondary. So if we can protect up front, we can have a field day against their secondary. Okay? But it starts up front. And they're probably saying the same thing against us. Oh, our secondary, your secondary, we can torch them. I like my secondary a lot more than I like yours if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. I like our secondary against their receivers. Yeah, they got some studs. They got Amari Cooper. They got CeeDee Lamb. They got Michael Gallup. I know. They got Dalton Schultz. They got some guys that can win and win big. I know. But I like my secondary. I like the guys that we'll put out on the football field. I like my chances against them. And whether we get pressure or not, want to get pressure, obviously. Don't want to give CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and all those guys infinite possibilities and opportunities to get free and get open. But I like my chances against their receivers. My guys locking them up and playing quality zone coverage and cleaning some things up. And CeeDee Lamb, maybe he's due for a breakout game against us. But every time we see him, that boy is scared. Dropping balls left and right. He doesn't want to smoke. So we'll see what happens. But I'm just going to say this. A lot of these matchups in this game, whether you're talking our D-line against their O-line, their D-line against our O-line, our receivers against their secondary, their receivers against our secondary, things of that nature, I like the situation for us. I like where we sit. You know, there aren't many matchups where I'm like, man, they got a big mismatch disadvantage against us. Whew, we're in trouble here. You know, it could turn out that way, but I like where we sit, honestly. So we'll have more in-depth game keys tomorrow on the show, but I just want to close this show by saying this. Mike McCarthy was out of pocket today. He was flagrant, okay? He committed a flagrant foul. He's got to pay. So does his team. And so my mantra for this game is let's make it 5 in a row on that hoe. And you're going to hear me say that a bunch of times until we make that come to fruition. Let's make it 5 in a row on that hoe. So you think your team's going to win. You're confident that they're going to get the win on Sunday. Let's make it 5 in a row on that hoe. See how you feel about that. 7-6. With a chance to come after that chip and get what's rightfully ours. Sounds real good to me. It has a nice ring to it. Let's make it 5 in a row on that hoe. Since you think you're going to win and you confident. We'll see about that. I am a Washington fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Washington spirit will never die. Washington spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Washington football team. Look forward to chopping it up with you guys tomorrow on the show and giving away these dream seat tickets courtesy of Trevor Patch. Again, shout out to my guy Trevor Patch for his generosity. Look forward to that. Again, if you are interested in entering your name into the hat, hashtag we want Dallas. 5 in a row on those hoes. Let's get 5 in a row on that hoe. Since he thinks, oh, you're pretty confident. We'll see about that. And I'll see you tomorrow on Washington Football Nightly. Have a good one. Take care.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap. Hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's got